Wesatya Halla Ikata Ragnar, with you all health. I am Ragnar or Raven, whichever you prefer. So, on my YouTube channel, I, a while back, posted a poll. I wanted to know whether or not people felt that the next episode of my Mimyr as well podcast should be about, well, more about the Scythian origins of drinking horns, or more about the Valkyries in connection to drinking horns. And so far, the majority vote has been for Valkyries in connection to drinking horns. So, today, I figured that given my circumstances and that it's been a lot harder for me to record things in the way I usually do, I'll kill two birds with one stone. Since you can record 10-minute videos on TikTok now, I will record this video as an episode, as the next episode of the Mimyr as well podcast, initially as a TikTok video, and then I'll just upload it to the YouTube podcast. So, this is the next episode of Mimyr as well. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on all of the Valkyries that are known to be connected to drinking horns from the stories, the texts and such. I think that I should maybe create a whole series dedicated to that topic. But I will start with this. In Grimnismal, stanza 36, Odin actually lists, I think, 13 goddesses or 13 Valkyries that are connected to drinking horns. Specifically, he says Mist and Hrist, I think Hrist, I'll have to double check, but the Valkyries Mist and Hrist bring him the horn at will. And then after that, he also lists off several other Valkyries, about 11 other Valkyries, including, for example, Skegjold, Skogul, Hild, Thruthr, Hlok, and several other Valkyries that also have the role of bringing the drinking horn to the Einherjar. So these are 13 Valkyries that specifically bring mead or bring ale by the horn to the Einherjar and to Odin in Valhalla. That's Grimnismal, stanza 36. Now, all of these Valkyries are equally important. Why shouldn't they be? But I want to focus a little bit on Thruthr. Thruthr is, of course, like I just said, mentioned in that list, Odin's list, in Grimnismal, stanza 36. But Thruthr is also mentioned in other places. There's a text called Alvismal. That's the lay of the dwarf Alvis. And Alvismal basically tells the story of when this dwarf Alvis, whose name means all-wise, went to Thor and asked Thor to bless his marriage with Thruthr, or it could be interpreted as him asking for Thruthr's hand in marriage. But, you get the point. He wants to marry Thruthr. And so Thor winds up having this dialogue with him where, Thor intentionally asks him a ton of questions. Basically, it's kind of like, hey, Thor, can I marry your daughter Thruthr? And Thor says, sure, but only if you answer all of my questions. And Thor winds up asking Alvis so many different questions. They're like cosmological questions. There are questions about like the names of different parts of the world and things like that. You know, what do these groups call the sky? What do these groups call the earth? And things like that. And of course, Alvis answers all of those questions, but at the end, Thruthr says basically, wow, you know, that's impressive that you have so much knowledge. And, you know, it's pretty impressive that you managed to answer all of my questions, but I asked you questions long enough to keep you here until the sun came. And now, you're fucked. Because Thor knows that when the sun rises, a dwarf will turn to stone. This is a little known belief. A lot of people don't know this, but in our old beliefs, the dwarfs could actually turn to stone if they are exposed to the sunlight. And so Thor did this on purpose. He intentionally kept him with his questions until the sun came and turned the dwarf to stone. But, you know, this lay references Thruthr as a goddess and would reference her as a Valkyrie. It confirms her status as that. And so this tells you a little bit more about who Thruthr is. Thruthr is the daughter of Thor. Thruthr's name means strength, and according to Grimnismal, stanza 36, Thruthr is one of the several Valkyries or several goddesses that has the role of bringing the horn to the Einherjar. So, yeah, this would be the first part in that series on the topic of Valkyries or goddesses that are connected to drinking horns specifically. And again, for those of you watching this video is going to be uploaded to my YouTube podcast, Mimyr, as well, which is linked on my profile. If you go to my profile, you'll see a black texted link, and if you click that black texted link, it will take you to a page with a bunch of other links on it. That is my link tree. And there's a ton of cool stuff on there. There's a GoFundMe on there to help us raise money for a vehicle, which we really need right now. It's originally was meant to raise money for a work vehicle, but we're homeless right now, so we need it so that we can not have to sleep in tents. There's also a link to my Etsy shop on there, and if you order anything from the Etsy shop, please understand that there will be a delay in those orders being finished because it's stuff that I make by hand, and given the fact that I'm currently homeless and I don't have access to a workspace anymore, it's going to be a while before I can get to those orders. So please understand, if you do place an order on the Etsy, it's going to take a while. That especially applies to the handcrafted drinking horns I make, which is my specialty. However, if you would like to support my business and not have a delay, I have a Redbubble online store, which is also linked on there. And what the Redbubble is it is photography that I modeled for, as well as my business logo that you can have printed on stuff like mugs and t-shirts and hoodies and dresses and skirts and bags and all kinds of stuff. There's Vikings Against Racism paraphernalia all over on the Redbubble as well. And basically when you place an order for anything on there, then it gets sent to a printing company, and then they print it and they ship it directly to you, which makes my life a lot easier given my circumstances. So that's on my Redbubble. Please go check it out. And also please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, which is, again, also linked on there. Thank you so much. Grow strong and think big.